My wife suffers from severe mysophobia. Only I am allowed to touch her personal belongings. That day, my wife and I were invited to attend a fashion show. Halfway through, I saw a pet dog on the red carpet, and hanging around its neck was my wife's wedding ring. That dog belonged to an idle trainee in the company. I had a hunch that this marriage was coming to an end. Later, my wife and that trainee were simultaneously surrounded by scandal. With red eyes, he asked me why I did such a thing. I indifferently avoided his outstretched hand and said coldly, "When she was knitting me a green hat, did she conveniently knit a veil for you, too?" The moment I stepped backstage at the show, I felt that this 10-year romance might be coming to an end. While I was adjusting my clothes, that vibrant young man stopped using the wedding ring to tease the dog. He smiled politely. "Hello, Mr. Boda." Although his tone was very humble, he had absolutely no intention of standing up. Even though my furrowed brows clearly showed my annoyance, I wouldn't lower myself to reprimand him. My gaze fell upon Lu Ruyan, who was touching up her makeup. She clearly didn't realize the undercurrents surging over here. Today is our 5th wedding anniversary. We agreed to go out on a yacht together tonight. For this date, I stayed up day and night to handle a whole week's work, meticulously preparing every detail for the trip. I never expected the wedding ring that belonged only to the two of us would become a toy for someone else to tease a cat or dog with. "Hello, Mr. Boda, my name is Yi Tingcheng." In Sister Ruin's new movie, I play the role of her younger brother. There was a radiant smile on his face, and his eyes couldn't hide his smugness. "I heard this wedding ring was designed by you personally. Dodo likes it very much, so Sister Ruin took it off for him to play with for a while. But don't worry, once Dodo is tired of playing, I'll wash it clean and return it to Sister Ruin." That ring was handed over by Lu Ruyan herself. Hearing Yi Tingcheng's words, I felt as if my whole heart was being soaked in salt water. I am the one who understands the extent of Lu Ruyan's obsessive cleanliness best. When her mother adopted a dog out of loneliness, she was so angry that she didn't step into that house for a whole year. Some people joked that Lu Ruyan would have to kiss me through a layer of plastic wrap, but they were wrong. After we got married, every time I came home from a party smelling of alcohol, she always carefully wiped me down and even brewed me a cup of hangover tea. She once said, "Husband and wife are one. You respect my habits, and I am willing to change for you. I only change for you." Yet now, she not only tolerates being in the same space as a dog but also personally gave our wedding ring to it to play with, an animal that is constantly drooling. Coming from a powerful family, I have never suffered such a grievance from childhood until now. This time is no exception. "Take your dog outside." I was calm but firm, not caring in the slightest about his embarrassment. The boy's eyes turned red, as if he didn't expect me to humiliate him in public. Stunned for a moment, his face flushed, and he stood up awkwardly. "Sorry, Mr. Boda." He didn't dare to raise his head, his hands clutching the hem of his shirt tightly. Just then, Lu Ruyan was also attracted by the commotion over here. It wasn't yet the time I arranged to pick her up, so she seemed surprised to see me appear early backstage. Realizing I was angry, she walked over helplessly yet gently, linking her arm with mine. "Boda, why are you here so early?" I looked down at her, not answering but asking in return. "Ruyan, why is our wedding ring with him?" The atmosphere backstage was heavy. The staff felt the situation wasn't right, so they found excuses to slip away, leaving only the anxious whimpering of the dog in the corner. Lu Ruyan frowned slightly, reacting very quickly, her voice casual. "Oh, that?" Before going on stage, the dog kept staring at the wedding ring and refused to move. I was afraid of delaying the schedule, so I let him borrow it for a moment. "Don't misunderstand. Now that you're here, let's go." From the corner of my eye, I saw Yi Tingcheng wanting to approach her, but he didn't dare to open his mouth. I said, annoyed, "You are Yi Tingcheng, right? I'm not used to hanging out with strangers. Go wherever you want, but don't follow us." The boy's face turned pale, his eyes pleading as he looked toward Lu Ruyan, but she didn't even bother to glance at him. Finally, he could only dejectedly hug the dog and leave. After dinner, even though the melodious sound of the violin filled the air, the atmosphere still carried an indescribable heaviness. When the band left, she came over, sat on my lap, smiled helplessly, and placed a light kiss on my lips. Boda, I already got the wedding ring back. Are you still angry? He's just a newcomer to the industry, curious about everything. Why do you have to care about such things? You broke your promise. I replied. Lu Ruyan was stunned. What? I looked straight into her eyes. You once said you would only change for me alone, but today, because of him, you accepted being with a dog. She didn't expect my long silence was because of this. It can be said that even those who don't care about the entertainment industry know how famous Lu Ruyan is. Her social media followers number in the 9 digits, but despite living so long in such a hypocritical circle, she has kept herself very guarded. Lu Ruyan narrowed her eyes, nestling into my chest and rubbing gently, her voice soft. I thought you would never get jealous. She looked up at me, her eyes seemingly holding a sky full of stars. In my eyes, he is just a young person trying hard, very much like you in the past. I just wanted to help a version of the old you. That's all. She explained seriously. But my intuition has always been very sharp. Sure enough, not long after, that boy appeared in my world once again, sparking a conflict between Lu Ruyan and me. It was only when a friend called to ask that I learned about this. Lu Ruyan arranged for an obscure trainee from your company to join the famous TV show, Life in the Countryside, produced by your side. Did you know? I heard that in exchange for that, Lu Ruyan even agreed to be a guest star in the director's next program. Attached to it was the poster announcing the guests for the next episode of Life in the Countryside. I looked up Yi Tingcheng's social media account. Sure enough, he had reposted that poster. He wrote, Big Sister says potential little stars shouldn't be obscured by dark clouds, so I have received this one-of-a-kind pampering. Accompanying it was a profile picture, a photo of him being patted on the head very intimately. Although the person in the photo didn't show their face, just by the red mole on the ring finger, I recognized it was Lu Ruyan. Although hard to say, I must admit she really provoked me. That feeling made me annoyed, like a fluffy cat that was only gentle with me was hiding its claws before others. When the stars in her eyes were no longer reserved for me, the corners of my lips curled up slightly. Very well. If you think one of a kind is something interesting, then I will make that uniqueness buried in the dust. I called that friend back. He was as excited as if a pie had fallen from the sky. Don't worry, buddy. You spent all that money to become the largest shareholder. If the director doesn't arrange for your company's trainees to be guest stars, wouldn't that be too embarrassing? So, 10 minutes later, during the lunch break of office workers, the time when everyone is scrolling through their phones, from newly signed trainees to long-time obscure ones, all were announced to become guest stars on the country's most famous reality show, Let's Run. Except for Yi Tingcheng. This news quickly spread throughout the company. People in the industry are all elites. Almost immediately, they simultaneously posted on social media to say thanks. Thank you, Mr. Boda, for the support. We are all little stars with potential. Worthy of being Mr. Boda, what others consider a treasure, with just one word from you, everyone gets a spot. Although the reputation of these trainees wasn't high yet, due to the large number and each having a certain fan base, in less than half an hour, the comments flattering the sister-brother romance under Yi Tingcheng's post had vanished without a trace. Curious people started following the clues, trying to guess the reason why I was targeting Yi Tingcheng. His eyes were red, his expression awkward and humiliated from losing face in front of the crowd. The initial showing off and provocation had now become a joke in the eyes of others. He lowered his head, having lost all standing, and silently walked into the elevator, intending to leave the company, but coincidentally ran into 2 other trainees bad-mouthing him inside the elevator. I've found him an eyesore for a long time. Who in the industry doesn't know the relationship between Lu Ruyan and Mr. Boda? He even dared to be the third party, thick-skinnedly delivering breakfast and coffee to her every day. He deserves that outcome. He didn't look in the mirror to see what kind of thing he is to dare to do such terrible things. Yi Tingcheng didn't say a word, clenching his fists as if insulted to the extreme. His eyes red, the moment he saw the elevator doors open, he buried his head and ran out without looking back. I stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, quietly watching his figure struggling to get into a taxi, struggling to the point of being pitiful. I am a person who holds grudges. Since he dared to jump out in front of me to provoke me, naturally I will pay him back double, to let him clearly understand who he cannot touch, and who he cannot mess with. When Lu Ruyan finished filming and returned to the car, she immediately saw Yi Tingcheng with eyes swollen from crying. She frowned, looking suspicious. What's wrong? You were very happy this morning? Yi Tingcheng opened his mouth, appearing just like a hurt puppy. Mr. Boda doesn't like me, right? No one has ever treated me as well as Sister Ruyan before. This morning I just posted a status to share my joy with my fans. Yet Mr. Boda became unhappy. As he spoke, he stood up as if intending to leave. Sister Ruyan, thank you for taking care of me all this time. In my heart, you will forever be irreplaceable. Hearing that, Lu Ruyan finally understood what I had done to Yi Tingcheng. Sister Ruyan, I'm sorry. Is Mr. Boda angry at you too? If I knew he was so easily angered, I definitely wouldn't have posted that. He bowed his head full of guilt, but every single word cleverly demonstrated his innocent pitiable state, while I was pushed into the position of being petty or jealous. What was Lu Ruyan's reaction then? Her assistant, a girl named Mai, told me about it. When she got home, her expression was gloomy to the point of being unsightly. The atmosphere in the villa was so heavy that the servants unconsciously quieted their footsteps, not daring to breathe loudly. I didn't pay attention to Lu Ruyan's anger, calmly continuing to prune the flower branches in the garden. Perhaps my indifferent, cold attitude made her even angrier. After taking several deep breaths to regain her composure, she finally spoke up. Boda, why are you being petty with a child? I didn't answer. She said again. Can you spare some time tomorrow? I focused on cutting a flower branch around the trellis, not raising my head. Why? Lu Ruyan was usually very firm, but she was taken aback by my cold voice. There must be some misunderstanding between the two of you. He also wants to apologize to you. It's better to talk it out clearly face to face. I put the scissors down and stood up leisurely. There is no misunderstanding between him and me. He was the one who actively provoked me first. I only retaliated a little. But it's true that I also have something to say. If he wants to meet, then I don't have to ask my secretary to pass the message. The next day, when I arrived at the private room, Yi Tingcheng was already waiting at the door. As soon as he saw me in the hallway, he bowed deeply, his voice trembling. Mr. Boda, I'm sorry. That was the first time someone treated me so well, so I couldn't control myself and shared that status to show off. I didn't expect you would take it to heart. It's all my fault, please don't be angry at Sister Ruyan. Lu Ruyan stood beside him, winking at me, signaling for me to accept the apology and not make things difficult for him anymore. I didn't answer, only handing my coat to the waiter before walking inside and sitting down. Only then did I speak indifferently. I think you've misunderstood something. I looked straight at him, my gaze as cold as a knife. Someone like you isn't qualified enough to break the marital bond between Lu Ruyan and me. But I want you to understand one thing clearly, I am extremely possessive. Anyone who dares to be ambiguous with my wife is challenging my authority, testing my limits. You definitely don't want to taste how I handle things, right? Perhaps accustomed to living in an entertainment industry full of flattery, when faced with my blunt threat, only fear and humiliation remained on Yi Tingcheng's face. Mr. Boda, he has sincerely apologized. Why do you have to be so harsh? Lu Ruyan interjected. She knew I would never make things difficult for anyone without reason, but even though Yi Tingcheng was scared to the point of trembling, she didn't say another word. Afterward, I took my coat back from the waiter, stood up, and left. There would be no next time. Whether he had thoughts in his head or not, it ended here. Before the car drove off, Lu Ruyan followed me into the car and sat down beside me. She still felt my attitude was too cruel. Between him and me, it's completely innocent. You don't need to put a child in such a humiliating situation. I closed the file in my hand, turning my head to observe the woman I had loved for 10 years. Her appearance was still the same, but inside, she was no longer as she used to be. Regarding everything between Lu Ruyan and me, from start to finish, the problem never lay with me. The spark that ignited the fire was her attitude. She knew very well how much effort I had put into that pair of wedding rings, Yet she still easily handed the proof of our love to a calculating third party. I didn't believe she couldn't see through his intentions. Lu Ruyan paused in the middle of trying to pull my hand, turning her head to avoid my gaze. I know he has feelings, but he is still young. Who hasn't gone down the wrong path? Just help him correct it, and that's fine. Besides, I didn't reciprocate, don't you know that? I said nothing, just quietly looking at her. That is also why I can still sit here and talk to you now. She seemed not to expect that I would blurt out such a sentence. Because I love you, I can endure the times you lose control. But I have something called an emotional limit. I hope you don't take a wrong step that leads us to the end. My determined gaze finally made Lu Ruyan start to panic. It won't happen, Boda. We promise to be together until our hair turns white. Lu Ruyan is very smart. She knows I can tolerate everything for her, except betrayal. That is the bottom line, the forbidden boundary. Therefore, after that day, she completely cut off contact with Yi Tingcheng. Losing Lu Ruyan as his support, Yi Tingcheng, a trainee with neither works nor fame, returned to the starting point, only able to follow his manager to run small, cheap shows everywhere. But even cheap shows aren't available just because one wants them. I didn't intentionally order anyone in the company to make things difficult for him. After all, who hasn't made mistakes when they were young? Moreover, I had already taught him a lesson. But in this fiercely competitive entertainment industry, favoring the strong and discarding the weak is common practice. In less than half a month, Yi Tingcheng was called in by his manager for a talk because his commercial value was too low. The incident happened one afternoon. That day, because he hadn't received any shows for a long time, he was forced by his manager to go entertain clients with drinks at a club. That scene was coincidentally witnessed by Lu Ruyan. The young boy being dragged away by the obese manager, his face full of pleading and panic, made Lu Ruyan's heart tremble once again. Without hesitation, she looked deeply and directly at Yi Tingcheng's manager. You don't need to come to the company tomorrow. When the secretary reported this, I wasn't much surprised by Lu Ruyan's decision, because I knew that before having my support, she used to be bullied by managers and suffered a lot of humiliation. She had been in that helpless situation, so now she absolutely couldn't bear to see a copy of her past self being treated like that. Furthermore, that once lively and bright boy had become so pathetic in just half a month. In Lu Ruyan's eyes, she unconsciously concluded that I was the one behind it all. Reason was burned away by anger. She broke our agreement. That day, as soon as she got home, the first thing Lu Ruyan did was swing her hand and smash the potted plant I was pruning. Boda, how did you turn into someone like this? This was the first time in many years that a huge argument erupted between us. Clearly he has learned enough of a lesson. Why do you still tell people in the company to suppress him? Do you know that today he was almost dragged away to serve drinks? You are so cold and selfish now that you feel very unfamiliar to me. I originally intended to talk to her calmly, but the anger in her words made me lose my composure as well. My face darkened. What is he to you that you have to care so much? He fell into this situation because he brought it upon himself. Do you think I, Boda, am the kind of person with so much free time to deal with a mediocre nobody like that? The potted plant lay shattered at my feet, impossible to piece back together. I looked at my wife, the woman losing control in front of me for another man, her eyes red. In that moment, I knew we couldn't go back to how we were before. Lu Ruyan was always decisive and strong. She immediately arranged for Yi Tingcheng to be transferred to a top manager in the company. As for the old manager, not only was he fired, but she also personally used her connections to block his path in the entire industry. She mobilized all her connections to find shows and brand endorsements for Yi Tingcheng. Even when filming movies, she forced directors to squeeze in a role for him. I clearly understood that was a challenge she sent to me. From then on, the Cold War between us entered an unprecedented stage. I moved out to live permanently at the company office. I moved to a hotel. Meanwhile, the house designed and decorated by our own hands was now only visited by cleaning staff. Later on, she didn't even bother coming to the company. Whenever she needed to pick something up or sign a contract, she sent Yi Tingcheng in her place. Once, she even gave the house password to Yi Tingcheng. That day I coincidentally returned. As soon as I walked in the door, I saw him walking straight into Lu Ruin's dressing room familiarly. Hearing the movement, he turned his head and saw it was me. Not only was he not awkward at all, but a hint of smugness and provocation, hard to detect, appeared in his eyes. I ignored Yi Tingcheng. From beginning to end, I didn't say a single word to him. That night, lying alone in the office restroom, I suddenly pulled my arm up to cover my eyes. Let it be like this, Lu Ruin, I won't stand still waiting for you anymore. In the entertainment industry full of gossip and scandal, Lu Ruin's intentional closeness with Yi Tingcheng naturally became a hot topic for every conversation. But the rumors between them were constantly updated, attending film festivals together, making heart signs together at commercial events, private fireworks on a yacht, the two even molded clay dogs together in their spare time. The company was always swept into the vortex of gossip about them. My secretary reported their every move every day, but whenever I heard or saw those things, I just coldly told the secretary to keep them as evidence, showing no surplus emotion anymore. At that time, I was busy handling all sorts of assets under my name. Premarital and postmarital real estate was so abundant it gave me a headache. While Lu Ruin and Yi Tingcheng continued acting out their drama, I had no mind left to intervene. Also during that time, Yi Tingcheng's provocation became increasingly obvious. He thought my silence meant I had lost. That's fine too, the brighter he smiles today, the more miserably he will cry in a few days. That day, a mutual friend of Lu Ruin and me was preparing to go abroad, threatening that if we didn't come to see him off, we would be blamed. We pretended as if nothing had ever happened. I took the initiative to go to the film set to pick her up. She even instructed me to drive carefully. But this time, even though the appointment time had passed, I still didn't see her anywhere. I walked into the studio, pushing through the crowd to search, and finally caught sight of the scene I least wanted to see. On the camera monitor, under the blooming peach blossoms, the young boy held Lu Ruin and placed a kiss on her lips. The director shouted, "Cut," and only then did Lu Ruin hurriedly walk toward me, her voice casual. "Wait for me to finish removing my makeup, then we'll go." It was as if her hugging and kissing someone else right in front of me was normal, nothing big. If it were another artist, this scene would be nothing. But the problem here was that Lu Ruin suffered from severe misophobia. Throughout her 12 years in the industry, she had never accepted a kissing scene. I stood still, my face cold, my whole body shrouded in a suffocatingly low pressure. Watching the backs of the two of them walking into the makeup room together, I suddenly calmed down in a strange way. The whole way to the meeting place, neither of us said a word. It wasn't until we entered the banquet hall that Lu Ruin smiled at me for the first time that day. She linked her arm with mine, skillfully greeting each person. When she wanted to get close to someone, she never lacked topics to talk about. Although she didn't mention it, the story between her and Yi Tingcheng had recently spread everywhere. When someone intentionally led the conversation toward our relationship, the atmosphere in the banquet hall suddenly became strange. I picked up a wet towel, indifferently wiped my mouth, and said calmly, "I forgot to announce to everyone, Lu Ruin and I have decided to divorce. Just a few hours ago, you two arrived together, didn't you?" A hot-tempered person blurted out everyone's suspicion. Everyone's eyes finally turned to me. I nodded. "Yes, but this will be the last time we appear together as husband and wife." The joy on Lu Ruin's face had long disappeared. She was about to speak when her phone suddenly rang. Her assistant stood right at the door and said urgently, "Sister Ruin, the news of the marriage between you and Mr. Boda has been exposed by reporters. Plus, with you being too close to Yi Tingcheng recently, the internet is now full of criticism. In less than 10 minutes, your social media account has lost over 2 million followers. Some brands are also sending contracts to cancel cooperation." Because the call was on speaker, everyone in the room heard it clearly. In the stiff atmosphere, the phone slipped from Lu Ruin's hand and fell to the floor. She blinked at me, her eyes filled with shock, suspicion, and forced restraint. "It was you?" Her voice was hoarse, carrying a tremor. I nodded slightly, the corners of my lips curling up into a cold curve. Her face became whiter and whiter, her eyes red as if about to bleed. "Why? Why did you do this?" I ignored her desperate scream, placing the prepared divorce agreement on the table. "Lu Ruin, I gave you a chance." She stared at me, as if unless I gave a satisfactory reason, even if the world turned upside down, she wouldn't give up. Her voice was as hoarse as if sanded by sandpaper. "Stop joking, this isn't funny at all." I said calmly, "It's a pity this isn't a joke. From the moment you indulged Yi-Tingqing to trample on this marriage, intentionally appearing in front of me to provoke me, you should have foreseen that this day would come. I have another piece of news, perhaps not very pleasant for you. Actually, every time Yi-Tingqing posted affection on social media, the assets you received during the marriage period decreased by a portion. Moreover, I have invited the top legal team in the country. After today, what awaits you will be ruined and leaving with empty hands." With every sentence I spoke, Lu Ruiyan's eyes showed a few more degrees of panic. "No, that's impossible." By the time I finished the last sentence, she completely collapsed as if going mad. She tore up the divorce agreement. "You are lying to me, it's impossible, Boda. How could you bear to treat me like this?" She rushed over and grabbed my hand tightly. "There's really nothing between Yi-Tingqing and me. I interact with him only for work. Boda, I love you so much, can't you feel it? Before, I was blinded by the people around me, please don't abandon me." I no longer had the patience to listen to those belated justifications. Pulling my hand out of hers, I suddenly felt that I also had a certain limit. As if my hand had just touched something dirty, I immediately grabbed the wet towel on the table and wiped it clean. Here is the translation of the next part. "From the beginning, I have been your protector in your work. As long as you didn't want to, no director in the industry dared to force you to do what you didn't like. You even used my name to force directors to squeeze Yi-Tingqing into the cast. Lu Ruiyan, you truly disgust me, don't shift the blame." Lu Ruiyan retorted agitatedly, saying that couldn't prove there was anything between her and him. I just saw that he was pitiful, so I wanted to help. I interrupted, "Don't you feel embarrassed enough? From the moment you allowed him to step into our house, everything was over. Such a private place, yet you let an outsider set foot in it. And now you dare to talk to me about feelings. I will have my secretary send the divorce agreement to you again. I hope neither of us continues to waste time on this meaningless marriage." Lu Ruiyan couldn't accept this. In her heart, even if she and Yi-Tingqing had slightly crossed the line, it was all just to provoke me. She absolutely had no intention of actually ending this marriage. She didn't understand why things had turned out this way. Even half an hour ago, she thought that after the party, I would take her somewhere to rekindle our relationship, intending to try and make amends. So, right after I got into the car, Lu Ruiyan ran after me, opened the door, and climbed into the back seat beside me. She urged the driver to drive quickly, as if afraid that if she were a second too slow, I would push her out of the car. Her voice was full of pleading and fear. "Boda, we can't end like this. Let's go home first, don't make a decision while angry. Whatever it is, let's talk about it at home." I looked down at her anxious and panicked face with cold eyes. Fine, if she wants to go home, then let her see it with her own eyes, so she can give up hope completely. This was the first time since the Cold War began that Lu Ruiyan returned to our home. But now, that house had completely turned into a strange place to her. Lu Ruiyan stopped in her tracks, unable to believe her eyes at the scene before her. "What? What is this?" Her eyes red, she turned to look at me, hoping I would give her an explanation. "Surprised? The very object of your poverty alleviation personally brought people to renovate it. You said that just thinking of this house made you unhappy. So, to make you happier, I threw out all the furniture we once meticulously chose together and replaced it with things you like." Lu Ruiyan's mouth gaped in shock. It took a long time before she choked out a sentence. "Then why didn't you stop him?" I shrugged, looking indifferent. Since the feelings were gone, this house was no different to me than any other real estate. Stopping him is a matter for the police. I just needed to extract the footage of him trespassing as evidence. That was enough. My heartlessness was like a knife stabbing deep into Lu Ruiyan's heart. In that moment, she fully realized that I truly didn't love her anymore. But there really was nothing between her and him. She was still unwilling to accept it, trying to struggle one last time in despair. Tears fell like a broken string of pearls, her stubborn yet weak gaze reminding me of the initial look that made me fall in love at first sight. If it were before, I might have hugged her to comfort her, But now, the look I gave her was no different from looking at a stranger. I know you two didn't go to the final step, but so what? When you lost control because of Itingcheng and took your anger out on me, didn't you think I would be heartbroken? When you handed the house over to him, didn't you know I would be disappointed? When rumors about the two of you spread everywhere, didn't you think about how others would look at me? You knew all those things, yet you still did them. You didn't care about my feelings, only thinking about protecting the weak. You didn't care about my dignity, only intentionally making me jealous, wanting to force me to back down and beg for peace. I looked at her, only finding the aggrieved look on her face ridiculous now. Lu Ruyan, we can't go back anymore. Don't do things that humiliate yourself further. Even so, Lu Ruyan still didn't agree to the divorce. Even though the internet was flooded with criticism aimed at her, even though reporters and anti-fans were camped out under the company building waiting, she remained steadfast, applying heavy makeup every day, trying to cling to me to salvage things. When Itingcheng was finally driven to a dead end and came to find her, fearing I would misunderstand, she didn't say a word and immediately ordered security to drag him away. Even though I was cold, she didn't let go. In the evening when I finished work and left the company, she would quietly return to our old house. She ran around to all the furniture collection points, scouring countless home goods stores. Day and night, she rushed about just hoping to restore the house to its original appearance. Wanting to learn how to cook soup from the maid, she even stepped into the kitchen she used to hate with a passion. Every day she came to the company, she brought a pot of soup she cooked herself. Even though every time, those pots of soup were poured away. Late that night, the door was suddenly knocked on frantically. It turned out to be Lu Ruyan, drunk, coming to find me to reconcile. Only then did I remember that this house was a property registered in both our names. Her information was also registered with the management, so she was able to get in. I called my secretary to come and take her to a hotel. Hearing my voice, the drunken woman immediately tried to fight the dizziness to stay awake, her voice sobbing as she begged. Boda, I'm not going anywhere. Let's not divorce, okay? I truly know I was wrong. I shouldn't have behaved like a child, and I certainly shouldn't have used the matter with Itingcheng to test you. I've deleted all contact with him and warned him never to appear in front of us again. Let's not divorce, let's just live like before, okay? I can take on many shows, even movies with difficult scenes, I can take them. I can earn lots and lots of money for the company. Hearing that, I suddenly remembered an important matter. I forgot to instruct the people in the company to handle the termination of Lu Ruyan's contract. My voice was as cold as ice. Lu Ruyan, announce your withdrawal from the entertainment industry yourself. Everything you have done has caused an extremely negative impact on the company. We don't need an artist full of scandal like you. If you withdraw voluntarily, at least there's a chance to manage, to try and pay off the contract compensation. If you still want to play tricks, then wait until the company freezes you until the contract ends. Don't blame me for not respecting our past relationship then. Lu Ruyan couldn't believe it, her eyes were full of brokenness. The woman who was once a superstar shining on stage now bowed her head, begging in a lowly manner. But I had said everything I needed to say. After that, no matter how she explained or begged, I didn't respond. Before the secretary took her away, I didn't forget to add instructions to contact the lawyer to push the divorce process forward. As for Itingcheng, he lacked professional ability to begin with, and now he had no resources left from Lu Ruyan, plus the title of a male mistress hanging over his head. Now, not only did he have to pay the penalty for breach of contract to the company, but he was also constantly pressured by my legal team for damages for letting others trespass into a private residence, causing me losses in every form. Finally, under the ceaselessly increasing pressure of public opinion, Lu Ruyan's legal team reluctantly had to agree to the divorce procedures with me. The moment we received the divorce certificates at the Civil Affairs Bureau, the last remaining light in her eyes completely went out. Not seeing her for half a month, she had become very haggard. The pride and confidence that used to be clear in her eyes were now replaced by regret and unwillingness. Boda, do you plan to be with someone else? Her voice choked, trying to hold back tears. I'm sorry, truly sorry, but can you please not be with anyone else? Just thinking that the love you once gave me in the past will one day be given to another person, I really can't stand it. Boda, I'm sorry. Hearing her speak, not a single ripple of emotion stirred in my heart, no pain, no regret. I didn't look back, nor did I regret the years I once devoted wholeheartedly to her. The Lou Ruined of the past deserved to be loved like that, but people change eventually. I don't regret it, but I won't continue to tolerate it either. Perhaps in the future, I will be captivated by another soul again. It is also possible that I will never find anyone truly compatible with me again. But that is fine too. No matter what, it is my own life. Lou Ruined, from now on, let's not meet again. After that, I never met Lou Ruined or Yi Tingqing again. Not only could they not survive in the entertainment industry, but even this city, a place once attached to so many memories and feelings, could no longer hold them. I didn't inquire further, nor did I have the time to care. Because to them, I might be an ex-husband, an ex-boss, or even a creditor they will have to struggle to pay off contract violation debts to for their entire lives. As for me, they are just people who once walked in the opposite direction on my life's journey, figures that have faded behind me. I let go of the past, living freely according to my own will. With each passing day, I welcome every surprise that life brings with all my passion and enthusiasm.